Sage Wanderer here, and welcome to the sheep pen. Bah! No goats allowed. So today I want to talk about the power of blessings and curses. Don't. Whenever I say curses, I feel like I should add a don't. Curses! That used to be an exclamation. You could just yell, curses! Foiled again! That's an old reference there. So, a lot of people think that cussing is cursing. It even comes. Cussing isn't a word. I think it's like a mispronunciation of cursing. Cussing. It's vulgarity is what we call cursing, and it's actually completely mislabeled, misunderstood. Vulgarity is not cursing, although I'm sure your school teacher from the 4th grade would disagree with me. Your preacher might disagree with me, but that's because they're not using an actual definition and correct verbiage here. So a curse is more like if you say GD it. Now that would be a curse. I won't say it because that's one of the things I'll use vulgarity, but I just definitely usually don't use the Lord's name in vain. It's just I guess it's my my childhood kicking in, the preacher's kid in me kicking in. But curses are when you damn something. When you say, damn you to hell, that's a curse. A curse from a popular song that was popular in the 70s when I was a little kid that you probably never heard of before was called The Bird of Paradise, and it went like this. May the bird of paradise fly up your nose. May an elephant crush you with his toes. I could go on, but it's a silly song of silly curses. But a curse is when you speak an evil intention onto another human. When I say to you, I hope you drop dead, or I hope this bad thing happens to you, or you're going to get yours in the end, I promise. That's a borderline threat. Curses are the wishing of something evil to happen to someone else and speaking it out loud over them. That's level 1 curses. You can curse yourself by speaking bad things about yourself. Nowadays in psychobabble, they call it self-affirmation, or they teach you to love yourself. And but to speak curses over yourself is something that even psychologists say is detrimental to your mental health and your well-being. Stuff like, I'm fat, nobody likes me, I'm this, I'm that, I'm no good. What you're doing is doing the devil's job. The Bible in one reference refers to Satan as the accuser of the saints. The accuser of the saints. So the devil accuses you of every bad thing, of every misdeed. He accuses you of every shortcoming, of every failure. And when you speak that over yourself, you're agreeing with the devil. So in so many ways, a curse is when you agree with the devil, right? When you agree that something that someone else has said about you in an evil way, or that the devil himself is saying to you in your mind, and when you agree with that and you start saying things like, hey, I'm no good at this, my sister, I love her to death, but she's the worst at this, because she used to tell me, oh, I can't go there with my car because I don't know how to back up. Okay, she's 30, she don't know how to back up. She's 40, she don't know how to back up. She's 50, she still don't know how to back up. I had a long driveway at my shotgun shack in the Texas Outback. It was, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of a mile long. I mean, it was longer than a football field, and for sure, I couldn't have drove a golf ball probably much further than the end of the gate, but there was no way to turn around because I set my house right on the end of the driveway, and it was a narrow strip of land with fences, and there was just no way to turn around. And you had to back out. And I got so used to it, I just back out in the dark, in the snow. It hardly snows in Texas, but you know what I mean. I could back out in any condition in a storm. But she would park at the gate and walk all the way down so she didn't have to back down that driveway. And one day, I just kind of threw down and I went, look, Stop saying you don't know how to back up. You're a grown woman. You can back your car up if you want to. What one person can do, another person can do. So don't tell me you can't do it. And so I just kept pressuring her like that until eventually she got to where she could more or less drive back down the road. It kind of looked like this, but she'd eventually get back down the driveway. And a lot of times when we curse ourselves by saying that I'm this way or that way, we hold ourselves in that position forever. I hate that Obama stole the saying, yes, we can, because I like that. Yes, we can. We can do that. I can back the car up the driveway, right? I can start a YouTube channel. I can become a full-time minister. I can turn my land in Texas into a house in Oklahoma. And it's just a matter of speaking blessings over yourself instead of curses. And that so often we are busy telling ourselves and other people around us what we can't do. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, what makes you think you can do that? I really kind of despise that kind of person. I won't spend time around somebody who speaks negative curses like that all the time. If I had listened to those negative voices, I never would have learned to play my first instrument. You know, people told me I would never be a professional musician and I'd never earn a penny playing music. And I proved them all wrong by speaking blessings over myself. I declared myself a professional musician when I was about 11. Because I decided that's what I wanted to be when I grew up. And why wait till you grow up when I can just be that now? And technically I was that, because pretty early on in my childhood, I started collecting a paycheck from playing music. So technically I was a professional musician, and I just latched onto that, as silly as it seemed, to introduce myself at the age of 10 or 11 as a professional musician. It's not even fake it like you make it. Or fake it till you make it. It's more like walk in it, right? And make your dreams a reality. You know, act like a professional musician and you'll be a professional musician. I mean, assuming you can play your instrument. You got to be a musician first before you can be a professional one, right? But nothing is beyond your capability if you work hard enough, and that's what I believe. But so many people get stuck in these beliefs of what they can and can't do. This bleeds over into your health too. This is how you can curse your health or bless your health, because and this leads me to talk about, kind of bleeds over into healing, no pun intended. I've been talking about healing, and I've had a couple of people who I believe they want me to pray for them, or they want me to try to help them get healing. And in one instance, this person lays out in a very succinct way their diagnosis and their outcome. They have this disease and they're going to die this amount of time. And I just responded back with one sentence. You are what you say you are. I don't really care what the doctor said you have. I don't care what their prognosis is. A much better way to approach me would to say something like, well, I went to the doctor and they said this is what's wrong with me. But these are my symptoms, and this is what they say I have. And this is what they say I should do. That's very different than coming at me by saying, I have this terminal disease and I'm going to die in this many days, right? Or something that equally that accepting of your situation. You are what you say you are. Blessings and curses are real. The power of life and death resides in the tongue. The Bible teaches us this. I had an interesting comment. One of my viewers said, you know, for somebody who dismissed the whole Bible but the Gospel of John, you sure know your way around the book. And absolutely I do. And what you may not realize, unless you're an aficionado of the Holy Bible, is that I speak to you in scriptures whether I quote them or not. But the power of life and death is in the tongue. You can speak blessings into this world, or you can speak curses into this world. And it goes beyond just speech. It has to do with actions as well. One of the things I have against people who are part of this name it and claim it um, religious Christian ideology, where you can just, because they take this a step too far, I think, or not far enough, as it were. They try to speak things into existence, and it comes across as ignoring reality. Right? I'm not asking you to ignore reality and just ignore the illness or ignore the shortcoming or ignore the problem. But I'm also uh, admonishing you not to accept it, not to just state it like it's fact, right? Look at it as a circumstance that it needs to be changed and can be changed and should be changed and will be changed. And then there's actions that go with that as well. Um, Live like there's no tomorrow. Don't put your affairs in order, right? Don't listen to what they have to say about how you should live. Live your life like there is no tomorrow. Does that make sense? Live like there is a tomorrow, live like there's no tomorrow. It's seems like a contradiction. What I'm trying to say is, don't let what other people say about your health, or what you think about your health, or what Dr. Oz said on TV about your situation, and don't accept that at face value. Understand that miracles do happen. Believe that a miracle is coming for you, and then walk in that belief. Walk it out. An example might be, I know this person who really took to the name it, claim it idea, and they go around all the time. Anytime somebody says something negative, they say, I break that word curse. And yes, they have a southern accent. That's why it comes out that way. I break that word curse. It got to be a joke around. Anytime somebody said something, we'd try to come up with some new phrase to make her say, I break that word curse. And even though they refused to speak a negative thing, and they always rebuked negative speech and tried to speak positively all the time, on the other hand, they were racked with worry. They never really gave it up to God. They didn't follow through with the action that everything was going to be okay. They didn't act like everything was going to be okay. They said everything is going to be okay, and then worried themselves sick, because in their heart they didn't believe that everything was going to be okay. And I try to think positively. Like, I had a friend that passed away, and I was believing positively for his healing right up until the minute he died. I was holding him up to God for a healing, that he would see his way through this right up until the minute he died. But when he died, I didn't blame God. I didn't say, I didn't go, I was wrong. What do bad things happen to good people? I realized that this is part of God's plan. Sometimes it's our time. You cannot live forever. And it's not up to me to figure God out. Sometimes, and I know it almost sounds like the same drivel that you get from every other preacher when they fail to be able to make a change happen. Now, in the event of my friend, I do believe that God had a purpose for him, that was his time, and I was put in his life to make a difference in his spiritual walk, and I did that. Mission accomplished, right? He died in a state of grace. I know this. He died under God's grace, and I'm not so sure that he did before I came into his, back into his life towards the end. And as much as I wanted to see his healing happen, sometimes death is part of the plan. I mean, it's appointed to everyone once to die, right? The Bible also tells us this. But like I said, I go down swinging, right? I'm not agreeing with death. If somebody speaks death over me, I speak life, right? If they speak a death sentence, I speak a life sentence. I live like there's no tomorrow, and I plan for the future like there is a tomorrow. Live. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Live like there's no tomorrow, but plan like you're going to live forever. That's that's the way I try to live, because you never know. You could die tomorrow. You could walk out this front door of your house and get hit by a truck. There's mayhem in the world. The devil's seeking to kill, steal, and destroy. But I've digressed. I got off on a bunny trail here. My point being, if you speak negative things, then I guarantee you negative things will happen. If you think positive things will happen. But sometimes you can think positively and they still don't turn out in your favor the way you wanted them, because there is ultimately a plan at work. And I know it sounds lame to say that, God works in mysterious ways, but when it comes to death, there's no doubt about it that some people believe our time of death is appointed by God, that it's predetermined when we'll die. But I can't speak for that, but I can speak for this. I live life to the fullest. I do not accept limitations. I don't lament about limitations. I don't dwell on them. I don't really accept them. I understand them, that they're there, and I have to be real. But at the same time, I keep moving forward in this positive way. I manifest positive thoughts about everything, about every situation. I refuse to engage in stinking thinking. I don't sit around here worrying about how things could go wrong. I sit around planning on how things will go right. Let me say that again. I don't sit around worrying about how things could go wrong. I sit around planning how things are going to go right. And when they don't go right, I'm surprised. I shake it off. I throw it up as, hey, it happens, right? But there are people who miss the good things in life because they're so focused on the negative. And they'll bring negative things into this world. I keep going back to the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from the movie Ghostbusters, the original one. If you haven't seen that, you should watch it, just for the comedic purposes, if nothing else. But the demon creature in that tells them that it's up to them now to choose their destroyer. And they tell everyone, don't think. All the good guys are like, don't think about anything. He's saying if whatever we think about will become our destroyer. And then here comes this giant Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. He's tearing down buildings. He's huge. And, the guy in question tried not to think about anything bad, but he manifested what he did think about. He tried to think about something that was harmless, right? But the power of life and death is in the tongue. You can speak good things into your life and into the lives of others, or you can speak bad things into the lives of others. If you keep telling somebody how bad they are, how wrong they are, how failed they are, how weak they are, they will always stay in that position. You're dooming them to be that forever. You're driving that into them and forcing them to accept that about themselves. I know you think you might be just pointing it out to this person, so you hope that they will grow, but if you keep that up, you're damning them, you're cursing them to be in that position, to always be fat, to always be sick, to always be late, to always be scatterbrained, to always be forgetful. I know you've probably heard this a million ways from a million different people, but I just wanted to add this to the doctrine that I'm teaching, that I do believe in the power of curses and blessings. And later on, we'll get into supernatural curses, the way that witches use them, or the way that some Christians curse. Did you know there are Christian curses? They're called imprecatory prayers. Imprecatory prayers. Look that one up, because that's what we'll talk on later in the future, is how what I talked about, which is a simple word curse, negative thinking, negative manifestations, or positive thinking and positive manifestations, and how they affect the human psyche and all of that. But we want to talk about the spiritual ramifications. And I'll just tease you a little bit, because this has been a long video. I'm getting long-winded here. Or maybe I'll just jump in and finish the rest of it. But when you curse somebody supernaturally, the way it works is, even if it's an imprecatory prayer, in my opinion, even if you're praying to God, if it's a good prayer, if it's a beneficial prayer, if it's a proclamation that is for the benefit of humankind and to the glory of God, then God is going to carry out your prayer. But if you pray, no matter who you address it to, for bad things to happen, for mayhem to occur, for problems to arise, for hearts to get broken, for people to get damaged, for people to lose, God's not going to answer that, because everything comes from God is good. Everything that comes from God is good. Everything good comes from God. Everything from the devil is bad. Everything that's bad comes from the devil. So when you pray these prayers amiss, when you pray these imprecatory prayers, when you pray for the wrong stuff, maybe it's for your own greedy intents and purposes, maybe it's you're praying for someone's demise or their destruction, then God isn't going to answer that prayer, but demons are listening. Demons are listening. When you speak curses, you loose demons into the world. It's not just psychological. It's not just the power of positive thinking versus the power of negative thinking. When you speak blessings, you release angels into the situation. When you speak curses, you release demons into the situation. They're more than happy to answer your prayers. You see, this is why the power of life and death is in the tongue. That you have the power to speak things into existence. If you speak good things, angels respond. The Holy Spirit intervenes. If you speak negative things, curses, then demons respond. And the spirit of the devil takes over. So be careful what you ask for. Be careful what you pray for. Be careful what you say about yourself. Be careful what you say about other people. One of the things that I've finally started learning in life is to control my tongue. You've even seen me grow in this way on this channel. That, trust me, I'm biting my tongue more than ever before right now, because I understand that to get out on the internet and to address the political things that are going on right now is a death sentence. They were going to kick you off. And I'm trying to stay on here as long as I can on this format, because it's huge. There's so many people. And so I'm trying to stick to the gospel, the thing that I can do the most, have the most effect with. And I know that's the last thing they're going to finally ban, because there's no defending when you start to ban religion and religious speech. So I kind of switched over here too, because even music, they banned my music because the lyrics were political. I didn't talk about that, but yeah, one of my videos that was removed from YouTube was a music video. So, not even music is sacred. That just blew me away. I thought I could switch to music to express myself, but apparently the last voice standing will be the religious voice and the highest of the high roads. But I got off on another bunny trail. I'm bunny trailing like crazy today. What can I say? It's Bunny Trail Thursday. You may be watching this on Friday. I'm not sure if I'm going to release it tonight or in the morning. But when we speak, as above, so below, right? God's will be done on earth as it is in heaven. What you loose on earth is loosed in heaven. What you bind on earth is bound in heaven. So when you speak negative things against a family member, when you pigeonhole somebody into they're never going to change, they're always going to be a junkie, they're always going to be a drug addict, they're always going to be an adulterer, they're always going to be a philanderer, they're always going to be fill in the blank. You're feeding into that in a psychological way. And not only that, you're empowering their demons. They're like, see, brother and sister so-and-so agree with me. See, Bob agrees with me, is what the devils are saying. See, Bob agrees. He ain't nothing but an addict. But when you speak life into people, you will overcome. You will find your way through this. I know that you will. I have faith that God will see you through. Now you're opposing the enemy. Now the message from the demons is, uh-oh, Sage don't agree with us. Sage is saying it ain't true. How many other of these humans are disagreeing with us? See, that's really what it boils down to. The devils are trying to get the vast majority of humans to agree with them on some level, and that will give them permission to rule us. That's it. They need permission to rule us. That's what they want. Demons want to rule us. When you speak negative curses, you're empowering them and you're abdicating your authority in this world, and you're giving them the right to destroy us, to rule us. Power of life and death is in the tongue. So I encourage you to speak blessings over your life. I encourage you to speak blessings over your loved ones. Speak blessings over this country. Live like there's no tomorrow, but plan like you're going to live forever. Don't accept the situation as it is. Accept it for how it should be. Work towards making it how it should be. Speak that life into those situations. Stop with the negative stinking thinking, not just the speech, but the thoughts behind it. If you are going to say, I'm just going to give it up to God and I'm going to trust God, then do it. Don't just say it. Don't worry anymore. Let it go and let God, right? Let go of the worry as well. I know I struggle with worry myself. Ultimately, we're way more powerful than any of us realize. Ultimately, we have the power of life and death in our tongue, to bless or to curse. You combine what I'm saying with faith, with an understanding of the fifth dimensional world, or the fifth dimensional, because fourth is time. When you believe in, have faith in, and operate in the unseen world, and you combine that with the power of life and death that we have in the tongue, and see the power behind it, you really can make changes. You can really speak things into existence. That's why I always speak blessings over you. May the Lord bless and keep you. May his face shine upon you. May you become cannons of light, destroying the enemy. That's a blessing prayer. May the Lord surround you in his ring of fire and hedge of thorns of protection. Right? I want to see you guys healthy, well, protected, and that's what I'm looking for. Prosperous. Right? I want to see things go in your favor. I want you guys blessed. Right? So speaking of that, if God has blessed you, please bless me with your support. I do need your support so that I can spend a lot of time deep in thought, right? Spend a lot of time praying some things into existence and bringing you these necessary tools to help you get through the end time struggles that we're all going to be facing soon. So if I can, I'm asking you, if you can, to make a donation into the PayPal there. It's in the description on this video. You'll find my P.O. box. I want to thank the lady with the beautiful handwriting and who sent me a gift, a check in the P.O. box. I don't get much in the P.O. box, but she did send me a check. And you know who you are because you're a longtime viewer, and your handwriting is beautiful. It's, you know what? It's in cursive. So like young people can't even read it. So I know you got to be over 40 to have handwriting like that. Yeah, beautiful handwriting. But anyway, yeah, you can send stuff to the P.O. box and get a shout out like that, or you can send stuff to my PayPal, and I usually always get right back to you on PayPal, and at least thank you for supporting us. You can write me a letter to my P.O. box, or you can send me an email to my email address, which is also in the description. So thank you once again. Thank you for coming to the sheep pen, being a part of all this. And I just pray this protection prayer over you, that the Lord surrounds you in his ring of fire and hedge of thorns of protection, that his mighty angels will be sent to you in sufficient rank, authority, and number to drive the enemy from your midst and make you victorious. And may the Lord's peace envelop you in Jesus' name. We'll see you next time on the sheep pen, where no goats are allowed.